This house looks like any other. It's got a driveway, a picket fence, and well-tended lawns. And yet this home is hiding something sinister, something evil. And in a moment, you're going to find out just how sinister and evil it really is. In the small town of Perris, California, lived the seemingly perfect Turpin family, a devout Christian couple with 13 children who were always dressed in matching outfits, smiling for pictures, and winning awards for their seemingly perfect family values. But what if I told you that behind the smiles, the hugs, and the perfectly manicured lawn lurked unimaginable horrors that would shake the nation? Welcome back. I'm here. And today, let's investigate the house where time stood still. It all started in 2018 when 17-year-old Jordan Turpin, one of the older children in the family, managed to escape through a window of the family home and call 911. She explained in a shaky voice that her younger sisters were chained up inside the house and that their parents were abusive. She said she had waited 2 years to finally make her move after seeing one of her little sisters menstruate and having no idea what was happening to her body. Jordan knew she had to do something, and so in the dead of night she climbed through a bathroom window, making her way over to a neighbor's house and then calling the police. When the officers arrived at the Turpin family home, they were greeted by a scene straight out of a nightmare. Inside the house, they discovered 12 of the Turpin children, all malnourished and chained to beds, living in squalor. What made the situation even more disturbing was that some of the children, though in their late teens and early 20s, appeared to have the mental capacity of much younger kids. They didn't even know what a police officer was. It was later revealed that the couple had kept their children locked up for years without sunlight or fresh air, forcing them to use a bucket for a toilet and shower only once a year. They were given only the bare necessities, and any disobedience meant punishment, including being chained up. The rescue operation was a huge success. Doctors and social workers rushed to help the children while the parents were arrested. The news quickly spread across the nation, and soon people were donating millions to help the victims. Ryan, an older brother, set up a foundation to oversee the donations. But shockingly, less than $2 million actually ended up with the kids. The rest vanished into legal fees and administrative expenses. Adjusting to life outside the Turpin home has been difficult for many of the children. How did these kids go from smiling for the camera to enduring years of captivity in their own home? Before we continue, I want to give a huge shout out to these supporters. Thanks so much for supporting this channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It really helps me out. And now, let's get back to the video. David and Louise Turpin were deeply religious, conservative, and strict. They homeschooled their children and strictly monitored everything they did. They also liked to enter their children into local beauty pageants, where the kids would wear matching outfits and wave to the audience while their parents beamed with pride. Friends and neighbors described the family as friendly and normal, which made the events that unfolded in 2018 all the more shocking. Once inside the Turpin family home, authorities found that each child had a locked bedroom with a mattress on the floor and chains attached to the walls. The bathroom had a bucket for a toilet, and the kitchen had barely any food. The house was filthy with trash and bugs everywhere. One investigator compared it to a prison cell. As the investigation continued, more disturbing details emerged about the Turpin family. It turned out that David and Louise had been abusing their children for years, using physical and psychological punishments to keep them in line. The children were forced to take cold showers while their parents watched, and they weren't allowed to speak to each other unless spoken to by their parents. They were also made to write sentences over and over as punishment. The children were subjected to extreme punishments and strict control. To say this was extreme parenting is a horrific understatement, but why would anyone treat their own children this way? You're about to find out. After the arrests of David and Louise Turpin, it came to light that the couple had been involved in several questionable activities. They had adopted 4 of their children, and investigators believe they did so to collect on state benefits. David Turpin's background showed some financial troubles, but the full extent of their abusive behavior only came to light after the children escaped. He served 6 months in jail for the crime, but it wasn't until the abuse of his own children came to light that the full extent of his monstrous behavior was revealed. The children told a harrowing tale of abuse at the hands of their parents. They described how their mother would chain them to their beds at night to stop them from talking and playing, and how their father would spank them with a belt. The children also claimed that their parents forced them to sleep in their clothes, and that they weren't allowed to use a toilet. Instead, they had to relieve themselves on a bucket in the corner of their bedrooms. The Turpin children were interviewed by a team of psychologists who concluded that they had suffered severe physical and psychological trauma as a result of the abuse. The case of the Turpin family shocked the nation. People couldn't understand how such a thing could happen in a seemingly normal family. Media outlets were quick to pick up on the story, and soon the Turpin name was synonymous with child abuse. But maybe the most disturbing part of the case is that signs of the abuse were there all along. Neighbors had seen the children's filthy clothes on the line and had heard them crying out for help, but no one had intervened. And that raises an important question. How could those around the Turpin family not have seen the signs of abuse? In the wake of the Turpin case, many people have come forward to share their concerns about the family. One woman claimed that she had reported the Turpins to Child Protective Services in 2013 after seeing one of the daughters in a beauty pageant. The girl had dirt on her face, and her hair was matted and dirty. But despite the woman's concerns, nothing was done. Another neighbor said that she had often seen the children playing in their front yard and that they always seemed to be dirty and hungry, but she never thought to intervene. So how could so many people have witnessed the Turpin family's strange behavior and yet failed to stop the abuse? Well, the answer may lie in the fact that the signs of abuse were often hidden in plain sight. The Turpin family was active in their church and in the community, and they always seemed to be putting on a good face. In fact, the family even had a YouTube channel where they posted videos of their seemingly perfect life, including one video titled Our Family Culture, which showed the children reciting Bible verses and doing chores. The channel has since been taken down. But here's the most shocking twist of all. Despite all the evidence of abuse, it wasn't until Jordan Turpin called 911 that anything was done to protect the children. That makes you wonder, how much suffering is there that goes unnoticed because we turn a blind eye to the signs? After the abuse scandal broke, the Turpin children were taken into state custody and placed in various foster homes. The couple, David and Louise, were charged with 14 counts of child abuse and later pleaded guilty to the charges. They were sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. However, the road to recovery has been long and difficult for the children. Many of them have suffered from health problems as a result of the abuse, and some have had trouble adjusting to life outside of the Turpin home. But perhaps most tragically of all is that it appears as though the children are still paying the price for their parents' crimes. Despite the millions that were donated to help them, many of the kids are still struggling, and some have even gone back into foster care. So what happened to the money that was raised to help the victims? While it's true that millions of dollars were donated to help the Turpin children, it seems that much of that money never made its way to them. According to court records, nearly $1 million was spent on legal fees, administrative costs, and the creation of a trust fund to manage the donations. Only about $2 million actually went to the children, with some receiving as little as $200,000 each. The trauma these children suffered has affected their lives deeply, and their road to recovery remains challenging, which is hardly surprising given the trauma they've endured. So what is the legacy of the Turpin case? What lessons can we learn from this horrifying ordeal? Well, for one, it's a reminder to never turn a blind eye to the signs of abuse. Just because someone seems like a good parent or a good person doesn't mean that they are. We must always be willing to speak up and help those who are suffering. Secondly, it's a reminder that things are not always what they seem. The Turpin family was able to hide their abuse for so long because they were able to put on a good face in public. But behind closed doors, things were very different. Finally, it's a reminder that no matter how much money we donate, it doesn't always end up where we intend it to go. In this case, the children were supposed to receive the donations, but much of the money was lost in legal fees and administrative costs. The Turpin case is a truly horrifying tale of abuse and neglect. It's a story that should serve as a warning to us all. Let's hope that the children are finally able to find the help and support they need to move on with their lives. And now it's time for you to make your voice heard. What do you think about this case? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to hear more stories like this, stay tuned for more content. Thanks for watching.